Welcome to Speed Data, quick conversations with cybersecurity leaders. I'm your host, Megan Garza, and today I'm pleased to welcome Dr. David Ulloa, Chief Security Information Officer at IMC Companies. Thanks for being here, David.
Thank you for having me here, Megan. It's a pleasure to share this time with you guys.
For the past 13 years, David has worked at IMC, and 8 of those years has been as the company's CISO, responsible for the organization's information, cyber, and technology security. David has a bachelor's of engineering degree in computer systems, a master's degree in education, and a PhD in philosophy. In addition to his work fighting the good fight in cybersecurity, David is also a pastor at Colonial Hills Baptist Church. Talk about well-rounded, David. Tell me, what made you want to go into cybersecurity?
You know what? That's a really good question, and I'll tell you why. Cybersecurity, as we know it today, it's not that old thing. It's more a new thing because when I was, in college and going through my bachelor, security was just part of the things you were supposed to do anyway. So I kept doing that security stuff throughout my whole career. It was just not called cybersecurity at the time. It was just called keeping things clean and healthy until recently the CISO role per se wasn't known as the CISO role. Unless you were in government or in a corporate, huge global corporate, it was not something that you will see typically in the last 20 years or so. So how did I came to be on cybersecurity again? It was because I love the attention to detail. I like to see stuff. I like to see why is it doing the things that it's doing, and is it supposed to be doing that? And that allowed me to see patterns and behaviors. And that's the reason I'm in cybersecurity.
And you mentioned that in the beginning, cybersecurity was essentially just doing your job and making sure that everything was safe.
Right.
So how would you say that the threat landscape has changed since you began your career?
Well, first of all, it has been more frequent. You now see it every second, if you will. It's more sophisticated. When I was in college, the security threats were someone connecting to a company and printing out a document on their printer. That was typically what you'd see. But now you see very sophisticated threats. There's ransomware and persistent attacks. And it just went wild. This is the Wild West, if you will, on the security side in information. But it's not going to change for sure. If anything, it's just going to become more sophisticated. These situations we're seeing today, in 10 years will be like, a baby can do it. So it's just going to become sophisticated, especially with the quantum computing and all of the development in AI and ML. I think this is just going to become a little bit more interesting, to say the least.
Nowadays, you wish the worst thing a hacker did was connect to your computer and print something off they shouldn't.
Right.
So that change in sophistication, do you predict that to be the biggest shift that we can look for in cybersecurity?
As we get to know more about quantum computing and how calculations that you used to take, a week will take seconds, that's going to come in play on the cybersecurity landscape. Because right now, today, malicious actors are using AI to attack, impersonate, you name it. And as the calculations in computing just go up in capacity and the time we can do it, these are just going to become more frequent and more sophisticated. So I think the AI / ML with quantum is going to change the landscape. And it's going to change how we respond and protect our resources and companies.
AI certainly seems to be the buzzword of 2023.
Yeah, and I don't see that changing for some more years. Again, what AI can do today is amazing. Things that in the past, back in the 80s, you would see movies like war games, and that was the AI of the day, right? And that was awesome. But this surpasses our imagination from back in the 80s.
And what do you think is the most important thing to remember when working in cybersecurity?
The most important thing is to keep learning. You cannot stop learning because the landscape is changing, the technology is changing, and the threats are changing. So the most important thing to remember is that you cannot stay static. Keep growing, keep growing. That's going to be the key.
And what skills make security professionals great at what they do?
Ooh, inside of cybersecurity, there's an umbrella of different positions and roles. So you going to depend on the role. But if you're asking a CISO, business knowledge is a key. So you know how to better protect your organization. If you are an analyst, things like knowing the network and how network works is a key aspect. Knowing things, even small things about programming and logic in programming. I think that's like key. The better cybersecurity engineers I have ever worked with are those that are able to touch all of those spaces, whether they're experts on a specific piece, coding, for example, or the network. Having all that background helps them and help us to keep our customers and organizations secure. You don't know what you don't know. So the more you open your mind and renew it with constant training and learning, that's how you will get there.
And lastly, David, if you weren't in cybersecurity, what would you be doing?
If I was not in IT, period, I would probably have more time at church. I'll spend more time at church for sure, in the ministry. And also, I think I will have like a taco truck.
Yeah. I love that.
I like to cook. So I think I would do some sort of taco truck or something like that, something eating.
Well, I love tacos, so I'd be your number one customer.
There you go, steak tacos. That's my favorite. So yes,
Love that.
that's what I'll do.
Thank you so much for your time today, David. I really appreciated learning more about your passions and your background. And for our audience, please send any questions you'd like to see asked on a future Speed Data episode to pr@varonis.com. Have a great one, David.
Thank you.